Hello everyone, and welcome to my first episode of DayZ. This is Woody here, Callum, and today I'm going to talk about why I prefer to run on my own in DayZ. A lot of people like to run with a group or, a team that they can work with, but as a personal preference, I prefer being alone in DayZ. And it's a lot more difficult on your own because you've got no one to back you up when you're, trying to go into a town. You're much more likely to get killed because if someone sees a person on their own, they're going to take them, but if they see a group, they might think twice about it. But there's something to me that just doesn't feel right when I'm in a group. The game doesn't feel real enough for me because it's hard to explain, but I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I grew up next to a big forest, and a lot of the time I just go out there on my own and kind of just walk around. And I think I've got almost this primal instinct to sort of be alone in the wild, I mean, I look to, I'm a huge fan of post-apocalyptic films. I've kind of lived my post-apocalyptic desires vicariously until this game came out. I made films with my friends in the woods with, like, lone survivors wandering around. And I grew up watching films like, 28 Days Later, Dawn of the Dead, the Romero zombie films, Children of Men, The Road, which is a great film, I think. But I think, in a way, that's why I prefer to, roll alone in a game like this, because I've tried to go with people. I mean, I've hooked up with groups and I've rolled with them for a bit, but it just doesn't feel right, and I can't really explain it. But basically, on my last death, I just thought, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna do this alone. So I've survived for quite a while now. As you can see, I've got an M16 and a Makarov. I've got lots of cooked meat and hunting gear, and I just live off of the land, basically. I only really scout these small rural communities when I need stuff. I needed extra Makarov mags at this point, so I was having a look around the barns and stuff. But even as you can see here, I'm being super cautious. I mean, I'm scouting out the area thoroughly with binoculars, checking all my ammo, making sure that no zombies are going to sneak up on me. So this has always been like a dream for me. I think this is why I love this mod so much, and it's so immersive, and I think a lot of people can agree with that, because it's the most genuine experience. It's almost like a simulation of what would really happen in a zombie apocalypse, I mean, what I've learned from this game is it's not the zombies that are the biggest threat, it's the people, it's other survivors, because especially in a game when, okay, sure, death's bad because you lose all your stuff, but you're not actually dying as you are in real life. People are more willing to pull the trigger if they see you. I mean, I've come across survivors before, I always shout friendly over my microphone, but they see me with an M16 or camo if I've got it, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna take this guy, so they just shoot me. So I've kind of conditioned myself to shoot on sight now, even though it's not in my nature, because I'm not an aggressive player. I don't like to shoot first. I will shoot in self-defense, but every time I see a player, there's a million things going through my mind. Who is this person? Why are they out here? Are they going to shoot me? Are they friendly? Are they a foe? Are they bandits? What if they say they're going to roll with me and then shotgun me in the back of the head? I mean, that's happened to me before. I've exchanged, civil kind of conversation with someone. I've walked off and they've shot me in the back and taken my stuff. So this game's taught me to be cautious as well, because as you can see here, I spend a good 5 or 10 minutes just scouting out this area, binoculars, making sure there's no one in there, checking that no zombies have spawned, so I know there's no one in the actual area. And in a way, patience pays off in this game, because I've spent 10-20 minutes crawling through grass to get into a town before, and it's not the most exciting thing to watch or do, but it pays off because you don't attract zombies. I mean, I do attract a couple of zombies in this video due to stupid mistakes, but even when I do that, I run out of the town as far as I can and shoot them in the woods, so I don't attract more zombies. But anyway, so in this gameplay, basically, in this life, should I say, I haven't killed anyone yet. As you can see from my debug monitor, I've killed a substantial amount of zombies, but I haven't killed any players. Mainly because I've just, as soon as I got my hunting gear, I mean, I spawned, obviously we don't spawn with a weapon now, and that's another thing. Spawning without a weapon has almost completely transformed the first sort of half an hour of DayZ, because now you can't just shoot a player that you see going by, because you've got nothing to lose. Now you have to stealth, because if you get ambushed by a bunch of zombies, you can't defend yourself. So you have to try and find a hatchet or a pistol or something. I mean, it's so much more difficult. I mean, I like the fact that you don't spawn with a map. I mean, that's always been in DayZ, but as you can see here, I've found a map, so I'm just sort of orientating myself as to where I am. But navigating by, I mean, I've heard that you can navigate by the stars at night, and that's pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet, but you navigate by, you use the sun, or you keep the coast over a shoulder or something, and it's a real genuine survival experience. I mean, it's all about how you play the game, I guess, because I mean, now you don't spawn with a weapon, as I was saying. You've got to survive with stealth. You've got to be cautious and patient. But other people, they find a hatchet, they just run around stabbing zombies because that's what they find fun. So the game has something for everyone, I think. And although a lot of the ArmA 2 community kind of almost act like they look down upon people who bought this game for DayZ, I don't think that's right, because I mean, I've had ArmA 2 for quite a while. I didn't buy it just for DayZ, but I'm not pissed off at people who did, because this is a great mod and people should be able to play it. And people are saying, oh, it's the COD community coming along. The real kind of douchebag kids are still on consoles at the end of the day. They're not playing PC. I mean, maybe the Minecraft community sort of, but they don't exactly have high spec PCs that can run this game. Oh, by the way, I apologise for the quality of this video, but my PC is kind of old now. I've tried to rebuild bits of it with extra RAM and stuff, but the motherboard itself is pretty crap, so I've had to lower the graphics to record with fraps, which is a bloody nightmare, to be honest. So if anyone can recommend any kind of decent recording software that doesn't, that's well optimised and doesn't hoggle the system, because I can get a good 60 frames, but here it's half my frame rate using fraps. So yeah. But anyway, so I think the whole thing about this game for me that fascinates me is the consequences of your actions, because you want to raid a town like this, you've got to think, is it worth expending the energy, the hunger meter going down and the thirst meter going down? Is it worth the effort and the risks to go somewhere? And I don't think any game has really captured that aspect of survival as this one has, because think about the main zombie game before this was Left 4 Dead, which is more of like an arcade shooter almost with your friends. I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong, I love playing Left 4 Dead with friends. Left 4 Dead isn't a game I play alone, because it's obviously nothing like this really. This is more of a open world simulator, whereas Left 4 Dead is more of a, I wouldn't say rails shooter, but it's more like an arcadey sort of style game, and that is what it is. I mean, it's a different type of gameplay. I mean, of course, the zombie AI in Left 4 Dead is much better than the ArmA 2 zombies. I think a couple of zombies walk through walls in this game play here, but this game's faults are, of course, there's quite a few because it's an alpha mod. I mean, people keep complaining about all the glitches and stuff, but it's an alpha mod that's been released for free. You can't expect much of it. I mean, this is a pretty stable alpha mod compared to other alphas I've played. So, I think the game's faults, as numerous as they are, they don't make me not want to play the game, because the core gameplay mechanics of it, the idea is just too good to not play. I mean, I might get pissed off at it, but I think every good game pisses you off at some point. It's a love-hate relationship, I mean, the amount of hours I've put into games like Call of Duty before, when I was into that, it was pretty amazing, and I always used to rage it. I used to come off screaming. I was what, 13 or 14 when COD 4 came out, and it really used to piss me off, and I used to moan about it all the time, but I still played it. And I think it's similar with this game, except it's much more immersive. I can play this game for 6-7 hours straight and just lose track of time. So yeah, this video is coming to an end in about 3 or 4 minutes, I think. So basically, I think I go into a barn or something. There's not really much happening in this video, and I apologise for that. But I think DayZ is a game that's, although a lot of people say it's boring to watch, I disagree. I like watching people, roam about in the wilderness. And in the next episode, you'll see that I do go out for a bit of a woodland trek, and I'll talk more about why I prefer running alone in that video. As you can see here, I'm kind of messed up with this zombie, and I need to bandage, but that's what I love. the clever thing about this game is that, like, the blood loss, although it's unrealistic, like a zombie hits you once and you start bleeding, it's realistic in the sense that if you got hit by a zombie in real life, or in any kind of survival situation, you have to stop, you have to bandage yourself, you have to heal yourself, you know, and that's what I think really works in this game. Like, every zombie is, as harmless as they are on their own, in a group, they are really lethal, and you have to think 5 steps ahead of yourself whenever you're in this game. You have to think, where am I going, what am I going to do? You have to have a plan. Well, I say you have to, you don't have to, but in order to survive a substantial amount of time you do, because I think, especially when you're playing against other players, I've been in a couple of firefights before, which have been really hairy. I mean, I went to an airfield when I was rolling with this group, and a sniper was sitting in the control tower, and he took out 2 of my mates with 1 bullet. So I'm standing there, and all of a sudden next to me, my friends' heads explode and they die. And I don't have these guys on Skype, I've just met them in DayZ. So it's like, I'm never going to see these people again, and that's amazing. That's something that a game has never ever done for me before. So I dive to the floor and there's bullets flying everywhere, and I'm just like, at that point I think I realised, holy shit, this is amazing, because I was having an adrenaline rush like I've never had in a game before. I did not want to die, and I crawled my ass out of there as slowly as I could, which is something I wouldn't usually do in a game. I just think, you know what, it doesn't matter if I die, I can just respawn. But, you know, but in this game you lose your stuff. But yeah, I don't really go to airfields much, because the kind of people who are attracted to airfields are the kind of people who are going to be player killers, because obviously they're looking for weapons, high sort of ordnance and surplus. So they're probably going to kill me if they see me on sight. But I think, but then again, I made a mistake in that situation. We didn't scout the base out enough. We did a couple of binocular and sniper scope scouts, but we literally just went in there kind of a bit overconfident, really. I think we underestimated what people would do. But these bandits, whoever were in there, he had a sniper and he just wiped out half of my group that I was with, just like that. We never saw him again. My plans for DayZ in the future, anyway, I'm thinking of sort of setting up a little camp in the woods somewhere, and maybe holding out there for a while, make a little camp, and then just use that as a base of operations to launch kind of scavenge hunts into the rural communities, maybe Cheranus and Electro. I tend to stay away from there unless I need medical supplies. So yeah, this video is coming to an end in a second. If you're still watching, thank you. I'm sorry, this is my first commentary, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing really. But if you enjoyed it, you know, leave me a like, maybe subscribe or leave a comment. I'm not going to beg you, because that annoys me when people beg. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Before I go, I'd just like to say that gameplay commentaries on my channel are going to be no bullshit. I'm just going to have you fades in and fades out and just play the video. I don't like any of that fancy shit. I don't like any, you know, 3D graphics or anything. I think it's just me talking over gameplay, and because a lot of YouTube commentators put a lot of bullshit in their videos, you know, they're always asking for likes, or, well, I did ask for likes, but I didn't mean it in a kind of like selfish. You don't have, if you disliked it, leave a dislike, you know, you're welcome to your opinion. I'd like to know what people think of this, and if you've got any constructive criticism, please, by all means, let me know, because I only want to improve. And I appreciate anyone who's watched this, by the way, because I know how annoying it is when someone posts a link to their videos on like a Reddit or subreddit or something. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll try and post a new episode whenever. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.